Hey everyone, it's Dr. B. And this morning, the question of the day was, why do I fear change? And that's such a powerful question because change is hard and change is inevitable. It happens continuously. We use the analogy of the river. Even when we're not recognizing it, a river flowing is changing the direction because it's eroding the edges of the river as it flows. And so there's this slow change that we may or may not even notice. And then there's like massive changes that happen from crashing waves and change the landscape instantly. So what are we afraid of? Well, people are afraid of different things. People are afraid of the unexpected. People are prepared for change neurologically early on in their lives. Sometimes, if something is familiar, it feels better, even if it's bad, than something new. And for other people, something new isn't as frightening. And so this comes down to a thing I call risk tolerance. And so if all you've ever experienced is when you step towards change is a negative response, or let's say you've been in an abusive relationship and that abuse is very predictable, that's a lot better than being in an abusive situation that's unpredictable. We really crave predictability and consistency and being able to know what to expect. And so that's what's scary. And if we can help people to recognize that change doesn't have to be, well, it isn't always bad, but it doesn't have to be bad as you're stepping out of an abusive relationship. If you set up the support systems in place that are necessary, then change can be really good. But change is not about just the environment. Change is also about us. It's about ourselves. If you've lived in a consistent abusive relationship for a decade, or semi-abusive relationships across your lifespan, guess what? You also have some changing to do. And what that means is, first we have to accept that we contributed to staying in the environment. This is not a blame statement at all, so please don't take it that way. But it does mean that now we have to be used to the idea that people aren't always going to respond or aren't going to. Our new expectation is, you will not be abusive to me. And so that requires a new set of skills and new learning, which can be scary because we often say to ourselves, I can't change, or I'm afraid to change, or what if I fail? You won't fail if you commit to it, and if you persevere in the process, and if you have a good support system, you will not fail, and you can learn how to treat people, how to engage with people who treat you well and as a valued human being on this planet. All right, with that, leave a life print.